A spacecraft belonging to the Life Foundation crash landing in Malaysia. The ship was returning to Earth with samples of alien symbiotes collected during a deep space mission. During the crash, one of the symbiotes escapes containment, killing the crew and causing havoc. The Life Foundation, led by the ambitious and morally ambiguous Carlton Drake, manages to recover 3 other symbiotes and takes them to a lab in San Francisco for further study. Eddie Brock is an investigative journalist based in San Francisco. Eddie is known for his relentless pursuit of the truth, often crossing ethical boundaries to expose corruption. He lives with his fiancée, Anne Wang, a lawyer working on a case involving Carlton Drake and the Life Foundation. Eddie's career takes a turn for the worse when he secretly accesses Anne's confidential legal documents to confront Drake during an interview. He accuses Drake of unethical human experimentation. This confrontation leads to Eddie being fired from his job, and Anne, furious at his betrayal, ends their engagement. Drake begins experimenting with the symbiotes, hoping to achieve a bond between humans and the aliens to create a new evolutionary stage for humanity. However, the experiments are highly unethical, using homeless people as test subjects. Most of the test subjects die because they cannot properly bond with the symbiotes. One of the recovered symbiotes dies in the process. 6 months later, Eddie is unemployed and struggling. He is approached by Dr. Dora Skirth, a Life Foundation scientist who has grown disillusioned with Drake's methods. She reveals the truth about the experiments and offers to help Eddie expose the Life Foundation. Eddie infiltrates the lab and discovers several symbiotes, as well as test subjects being experimented on. While exploring, Eddie encounters one of the symbiotes, Venom, which escapes containment and bonds with him. The bonding process gives Eddie superhuman strength, agility, and healing abilities, but also causes erratic behavior as Venom communicates directly with him. Eddie, feeling extremely hot and out of control due to the symbiote, enters a fancy restaurant to meet his ex-fiancée Anne Wang and her new boyfriend, Dr. Dan Lewis. Eddie exhibits strange and erratic behavior. He sweats profusely, fidgets, and speaks in a frantic manner, alarming everyone around him. Eddie climbs into a lobster tank to cool himself off and then bites into a live lobster. Dr. Dan Lewis notices Eddie's erratic behavior and deteriorating health. Dr. Dan places Eddie inside the MRI machine to scan him and determine the cause of his unusual symptoms. When the MRI machine starts, the sound waves cause intense pain to both Eddie and the symbiote. Eddie screams in agony, and Venom momentarily separates from his body. Once the MRI stops, Venom reattaches to Eddie, but the incident leaves Eddie shaken. Dr. Dan realizes that Eddie is hosting an alien organism and becomes more determined to help him. Carlton Drake is furious when he learns that Eddie has not only infiltrated the facility but has also exposed his unethical experiments on human subjects. Drake orders his private security team to capture Eddie and retrieve the symbiote. Drake's men track him to his apartment. The mercenaries pursue Eddie on motorcycles. Venom, now bonded with Eddie, uses its abilities to help Eddie escape. The symbiote enhances Eddie's physical capabilities, allowing him to pull off extraordinary stunts, like flipping cars and surviving collisions. Venom fully manifests, showcasing its strength, agility, and ability to create shields and tendrils to fend off attackers after an intense chase. During a confrontation with Life Foundation mercenaries or other intense moments, Venom fully reveals itself to Anne. The symbiote speaks to her, making its presence undeniable. The escaped symbiote, Riot, travels across continents, using host bodies to survive as it makes its way towards San Francisco and bonds with Carlton Drake. Together, they plan to launch a Life Foundation rocket to bring more symbiotes to Earth and begin the invasion. Anne, concerned for Eddie's safety, infiltrates the lab with the help of her new boyfriend, Dr. Dan Lewis. Eddie is forcibly separated from the Venom symbiote in the lab using high-frequency sound waves. This weakens him significantly, as the symbiote had been enhancing his strength and health. Once separated, Eddie becomes vulnerable and is taken captive by Drake's men. Eddie is taken to the Life Foundation, where he is imprisoned in a containment cell. Carlton Drake plans to retrieve the Venom symbiote for his experiments and potentially let Eddie die. Drake is infuriated and mocks Eddie. showing his arrogance and superiority. After Drake finds out that Eddie Brock has been separated from Venom, he orders his men to kill Eddie. His people capture Eddie and take him to a hidden facility where they plan to dispose of him. The Venom makes the dog host during an escape scene from the Life Foundation's facility. The Venom briefly transfers from the dog to Wang, and Wang decides to take matters into her own hands and rescues Eddie at the facility. Venom bonds with Anne, temporarily taking control of her body, creating the character She-Venom. She uses this newfound power to fight off Drake's men and rescue Eddie. Venom retreats from Anne and returns to Eddie, as the symbiote has a deeper connection with him. After Anne's rescue and the conversation with her, Eddie ultimately decides to embrace the symbiote's power and use it to fight back against the Life Foundation, especially against the organization's leader, Carlton Drake. Riot kills one of Carlton Drake's scientists to demonstrate his power, assert dominance, and further his own agenda. Killing the scientist serves as a demonstration of Riot's power and sends a clear message to anyone around him, including Drake and the other scientists. The two symbiotes engage in a brutal fight, with Venom struggling to match Riot's superior strength and weaponry. Riot can manipulate its form and is capable of creating deadly weapons from its body, such as blades and tendrils. Venom initially struggles against Riot's superior strength. Riot's larger size and greater control over his symbiote abilities. Riot grows more desperate, knowing that if he doesn't defeat Venom, his plans will be ruined. During the final battle between Venom and Riot, and activates the high-frequency sound from the rocket launch equipment to force both symbiotes to separate from their hosts temporarily. This creates an opportunity for Eddie and Venom to recover and strategize. During the intense fight near the rocket, Riot, using one of his sharp symbiote-formed weapons, stabs Eddie through the chest, delivering a fatal wound. This moment seems to spell doom for Eddie as he collapses. Venom, bonded with Eddie, uses his symbiote powers to heal Eddie's wound. The symbiote works quickly to close the wound and stop the bleeding, allowing Eddie to survive what would otherwise be a fatal injury. Venom manages to destroy the rocket, killing Drake and Riot in the explosion. Venom, presumed destroyed, secretly survives and rebonds with Eddie. In a mid-credit scene, Eddie visits Cletus Kasady, a psychotic serial killer, in prison for an exclusive interview. Kasady ominously promises carnage when he escapes, teasing the arrival of another symbiote in the sequel. If you enjoyed diving deep into the story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated.